Hello. Is anyone going to show up to watch this second part stream? Hoping that maybe some people who couldn't join the earlier stream today would be able to join now and maybe questions if anyone has anything. But yes, I do have still some of these small issues left that I think I maybe this streaming time is actually really will be able to watch at this time. So maybe our usual Saturday release celebration live stream time is actually more optimal for people to. For me, it's not very good, so any coding streams at that time would be very. At least someone is in that, so maybe there is actually some people watching. In preparation for this second part of the stream today, I was hello, we see it Iman. How your name was supposed to be. We at least have someone watching. This seems like pretty very difficult to solve, but not much benefit. this issue seems like it would be quite possible to do, but it's been put off for quite a while. The music state would be I'll leave this tweet tweaking to someone else. Be relatively easy. Maybe I'll even mark this as easier. Be relatively simple to same approach as the main. Seems like does kind of seem like it has been solved. Saw the input manager stuff that's been. I didn't write this, but thought for a while that it would be nice to factor this a little bit, but this seems to be basically. This is a pretty interesting issue and complex. Sure if I should. I think this might be done, so be pretty. Let's confirm that. Don't want tutorials on. Seems to be a slight problem here, but let's try the checkbox in the other state. I think it might cause something. First we seems like another bug that value wasn't updated. Yeah, no soft lock. But if the tutorial is disabled, start a new game. The options no tutorials in current games, seems like. That's done, but then let's investigate the bug a little bit. So tutorials enabled. It's probably oh, this doesn't get. This doesn't undo the. Maybe it should. Maybe it should. Because the pause menu is a singleton now, so the options menu is also reused. This might be why the button is not showing. I'm wondering why that original thing was added here. where we can get. Oh, luckily. Okay. Does seem like it's. Like that checkbox to not show kind of doesn't minor because probably won't. They would have had to manually enable tutorials for the. Okay, yeah. Oh. Do a. Time. Java is not. Hmm. Probably not a continue with the so this is this fuck would be save and somehow open the pause menu before save ends. So actually, I think with the new pause lock system, this should no longer happen. So I think it's probably not no longer a bug. So seems like we aren't really going to get I was thinking that maybe I should check a few more of the old issues to see if there are any that can be closed, because plan that next week or in 6 days we'll release 1.0, the markup stage complete version. I feel like this might be good. Maybe this should be forwarded to the forward the code error. I think we'll need some testing work from Iman to show that we don't pop up a ton of errors. Okay, I think that should be good, but this likely needs like hours of testing to make pop up a bunch of new error pop-ups in the window version. All the players get it. As the come from the this should invoke correctly, so this shouldn't cause a crash. Hopefully. Let's quickly test this like square. With a newsfeed task could something like post there, then we forwarding sim. Testing, yes. Okay. Unhandled error as well. Good. I want to see what's going on. Yeah, I guess it causes Oh, come on, get through them. Okay, that's a nice number of. This is fine. So 8. Yes. That. Probably. It's actually not. No new arrows. For some reason my ID always shows like 10 warnings, but number goes up, then I know I've gone now, so. So.
Hello. I had no idea I'd still be around or you'd still be around when I woke up.
Well, I did say I was going to do a part 2 of the stream after a short break.
Well, congratulations. How's it been going so far?
Pretty good though. The person who like really mostly Yusef, who mostly wanted the stream, was only able to come in on the morning, so there's been no one on this stream who has wanted to ask any meaningful questions.
I could encourage anyone watching this if they want to leave a comment, even days after the fact. There probably won't be that many that'll overwhelm all of us. Are we streaming video right now? I'm trying to see it.
I am streaming too, or at least I was a few minutes ago.
Can confirm I am seeing it.
Still says good. So I've been basically just doing some easy issues today and, well, going from the oldest issues, so I've been taking care of 4 to 5 year old issues at this point.
That seems like a good sign, because that means, you know, we're running out of pressing issues, hopefully.
Yeah, well, at least I think there's still kind of one more, but all of the error reports related to that have been that basically go to macroscopic and do a bunch of cell type duplications and place them and undo them and delete, and then it will eventually break, but I didn't get that to trigger. I did make a similar stage to the or a similar fix to the multicellular stage where you could get a very similar error message. And I found the root cause for that thanks to a really good steps by Hexapod.
There, see, another lesson for anyone still listening. If you find a bug, the best thing you can do is make a recipe to build it again.
Yeah, that's like the most useful thing a bug report can have, but I kind of think suspect that the same bug that I fixed for multicellular was maybe causing the macroscopic thing, but of course without proven steps I can't be certain, but at least to me it seems like all of the major fires have been finally put out after the last few releases with the major new background system change. Oh, I do know actually there's one more report. Someone reported that they somehow got a bug where they in easy mode they continued, and for some reason the game let them select like the old species as their new species, and then the further sanity checks kicked in. So there's some kind of inconsistency in those checks. Oh, and then there's this super rare chemoreceptor chunk score error, which I'm not sure is possible to fix or get it well.
Is that one of those things where it prints not a number?
No, actually, this is a collection enumerate. Collection was modified. Enumeration operation may not execute. So this is a proper race condition in the threading.
Okay.
But it should only really trigger when AutoWare accidentally runs when some other stuff runs, but it could be that there's some really rare case where accidentally some stuff that is being read is updated.
We have a question in the chat of the questions must be programming related? Question mark?
Yeah, preferably. I don't want to answer the usual questions we get every stream, so prefer to keep this for technical. If someone is interested on the programming side of Drive, then place to talk about that. Anyway, I didn't even check this error line. Seems like this is species organelles. seems highly suspicious, like the species organelles should only be modified after. Like this comes from the calculate population step. But the population should only get applied after the...
Are we multi-threading it all so that one might be checking and another patch might be modifying a species? I would think that's a problem that...
Well, yeah,
Go ahead.
that theoretically, if there wasn't any checks that could happen, but that shouldn't be able to happen because the run should be completely done before any of the results are applied. That's like the primary principle why this whole thing doesn't blow up immediately. So it's weird that it would extremely rarely happen. So if this error happened to a player, then there was actually in the previous release, like in the editor, if you do changes too fast, it queues up prediction runs, but the player might do an edit before the prediction run is complete. So that could have caused this, but I added a check that the prediction run won't restart until the previous run is completely done, so there should be no longer thing.
That could be something to try doing. A scenario like you might want to try in this would be adding some logger statements, since we have always had that gd.print function, and just try to open the editor, do the predictive runs, add and remove a bunch of organelles, trigger it, and see if you can get things happening out of order.
Well, I think
My
for
hunch...
anyone with a faster computer like me, you would need to put a bunch of sleep statements into auto so that it runs slower.
Yeah, that's another tool if you have to do it.
I guess for now, like there's been these like issues reported every now and then, like going years back, that somehow collection was modified, errors happen, and someone reports this like a few times a year. So I think for 1.0 I can take this off my to-do, unless some people can.
Do we have a bug for it on GitHub in case some very brave and smart programmer comes by?
Well, I'm
I'm just surprised that it would be
yeah, there's
happening only...
two open errors about this.
Is it only for this score? Because we iterate over the organelles plenty of times, in plenty of places.
Well, that's where it has triggered.
And there you have our worst kind of difficulty, the bug that we can't replicate.
I'll close this one older issue about the prediction that I think is solved. But I'll leave this one. This is actually organelle suggestion who can fail with collection modified exception, but that doesn't exactly match. Well, maybe I'll just put the perhaps related. I'll close or be with the queued runs. you want the GitHub links, you can check in the GitHub channel where I just comment.
Did you ever go over the basics of like where the GitHub is, setting up the repo, stuff like that?
Well, not really. I did go over on the morning stream a bit about pull requests and updating them and stuff like that, but I don't think I'm the right person to make like a full tutorial on how Git works. So I guess for some people it is kind of a roadblock figuring out how to navigate GitHub and so on, but I also think that the difficulty of working on Thrive is higher than navigating GitHub. Basic committing workflow working.
I know that what always filtered me out every time I came back to Thrive development was getting all the dependencies and structures and command line things up again. As you know, as you had to help me fix it half the time. I
Yeah,
was thinking,
well, everything is pretty much relative because, well, Tabat asked about the Leviathan thing, that, but like that needed like 10 times more dependencies. Like it's in comparison, it's laughably easy. Like how short our setup instructions are now. So, is in my opinion, like that's like so easy in comparison that people should be able to figure out. But like almost in 100% of the cases, the problem is that someone didn't read the whole setup instructions. All the help that they really need is that I point out that, hey, you skipped this section of the setup instructions or do that. So well, we did have footage recorded of someone going through all of the setup instructions, but like that never got edited into a video, and now Oliver is gone, so footage is going to get edited sometime soon.
I forgot he did that.
Yeah, I think I just recently like deleted my notes on those videos because it doesn't seem like it's ever going to get done, and there were a few technical problems or like things where something was more optimal to do a better way. So I had a few notes like edit this part here and like add some text here explaining this part a bit better, something like that. But like I held onto those notes for like 3 years, but now came off those videos. So I guess I should answer Tabat in chat, who is asking again about the thing that was asked already in the earlier stream. So was this hardest thing during the Leviathan to Godot transition, and I think that was pretty easy, but like as any conversion, like the hardest part is that you just have to do converting a small part of the game, but like 200 times for every single small feature of the game. Then you have to, of course, test everything to make sure that it's still mostly the same as before. Of course, you probably don't get it like exactly the same as before, so there's like new bugs and slightly altered behavior, so it takes months to iron out most of the new problems. And I guess, well, only the really hard parts were like getting the backgrounds and the compound planes working, because those are the only real like complicated shader effects we have. Everything else is just basic graphics and basic gameplay logic. So like finding out how to those shader stuff and sending data to them and so on. Godot, that was probably the hardest part, but even that was pretty easy because Godot has good documentation, and most of the graphics libraries do things basically the same way as each other, so and port most of the code one-to-one. Just find out how do I create a blank texture in this end, how do I map it so that the CPU can write pixels to it, and how do I write a shader that reads that texture, and what code do you need to like set up the rendering pipeline so that it attaches the textures, etc. to the right places.
Trying to play with the compound clouds during the spawn rework. I never did fathom how they worked. They work though.
Well, I don't also know like the core math. I don't understand why it works. I just know how to copy and paste the core math then new places so that it worked.
I was coding during the Leviathan days. I want to say that engine lasted like 3 years on the project.
Yeah, maybe it was around 3 years. But it took like, I think it took quite a long time before like the initial conversion was done, because I was doing it just by myself. But I also now know why Godot engine does the approach that they have literally just copy pasted all of their dependency source code into their own. Because for Leviathan you needed to get something like 6 or 7 extra projects that needed to be compiled and made available as libraries. So I spent a ton of time writing setup scripts that would do that automatically. And even then, I think people were too scared to really try them. So I don't think that many people managed to do it. And of course, if the scripts failed, then it'd be quite difficult. But now, comparing the Godot setup, that you just need the .NET version of Godot and .NET SDK and a C# IDE, with JetBrains now being free for open source work, I think. So very simple, and then you just need to have Git with git lfs, clone the repo, and then run our custom setup script stuff. That's it. Don't need to get a compiler and the Boost library system-wide installed and install those, and getting Ruby as a external scripting language, and then I think you even needed LLVM, the Leviathan setup, for some dependency. Then you needed Visual Studio, and then you need specific version at specific path so that it could find it. And yeah, that was so complicated. And then the automated scripts like cloned like 10 repositories, and some of them were forks by me because the upstream didn't compile correctly with the latest Visual Studio version or something, and all of those needed to be compiled without major problems and matching the DLL type for the game and copy it to the right folders for the build process. Like if that failed, that was really complicated to find out. So nowadays you could do like a 3 or 5 minute max setup instructions video for Drive, and you wouldn't even need to like cut that much footage from it. It would actually be that short.
Maybe someday. It's very hard to get data on who tried to but failed to program for Thrive and exactly what step in the process from start to end weeded them out.
Well, most of the problem is that people, like someone who would want to record the video would need some kind of like clean Windows install, because otherwise it doesn't like really matter. And just show the steps, but you can't like prove that what went on. Because in theory, it should be as simple as like going to the .NET SDK website and download that and download Godot and open on the installers and open.
Well, next time I want to wipe my computer, consider it on my list. I'm probably gonna have to drop off to continue with life very soon.
Yeah, I think I'm going to pretty much end the streams soon anyway, because, well, I can soon end the work for today, and I've talked so much by myself on stream that I'm running out of voice here. Thanks for
I'm sure
stopping by.
Thanks for doing it. Doing a hard day's work while everybody's watching. All 1 to 0 people are watching you all day.
Well, there's actually 7 concurrent viewers, so I'll have you know.
Okay, alright, stand corrected. Sorry, sir.
Yeah, definitely need to do this on a Saturday evening if there's going to be a new coding stream.
Lessons are learned. That happens in the build-up. You've done good work. We're getting close to 1.0.0. You're probably the best employee that Revolutionary Games has.
Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome. Talk to you later.
So I already did. Hmm. Seems like not really people don't really so. Almost a year since last comment, so I'll post this as well. Hmm. Okay, let's take this as the last thing. This other thing as well. This can wait. Wait a long time. This is kind of high priority. So okay, so multicellular. Hmm. Would also work. Let's try. Shouldn't. $38. Speed. $2.7. Well, it looks like this book is actually gone. That seems pretty good. Multicellular. Well, no one has said it in 3 yet, so let's assume something has done something there. But at least this second bug. It's done. Alright, and now we have only 617 issues open. That's better than a really long time. In a really long time, so. Okay, that was a productive. This job has succeeded, so. Okay, nice. See, no one has shown up. I've been told that all the Americans are sleeping. So yeah, it has been a relatively productive combined coding and streaming day. This was nice getting a live coding stream after a few months, a few years. without one. I hope that maybe the next time it will have to be a time zone when Americans are awake to join, so might be some months until there's a next one, but hopefully not as many years go past as last time. But yeah, this just take quite a lot of effort to try to talk by myself for so long, and this don't get many views, so that's why to me these don't feel that worthwhile to do. Alright. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.